Today we are going to be visiting the Edge Technologies booth, talking with Dan about the new bar feeders that Edge is going to be offering this year and taking a tour of their booth. Let's go in there and check the booth out. Hello everyone, we are at IMTS 2024 in the Edge Technology booth. With me here is Dan, the National Sales Manager for Edge Technologies. Dan, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks Shae, happy to be here.
Awesome, and one thing that's really important, and one of the reasons why we're here today, is to talk about the importance of bar feeding and the different solutions that can go into your machines on the floor to help you create more of an automated process. So Dan, before we go into each machine,
Sure.
Can you talk about how important it is to spend time picking out the right bar feeder for the right solution?
Sure, obviously for every application there's multiple solutions that can work. However, there's a lot of times where one works much better than the other. And throughout the Edge line, we have about 30 different bar feeders that break down into 75 different buildups of bar feeders. And we have each one of those for a specific reason. They're probably serving an application. So really it's worth time digging into and doing your research on what is the correct automation play for what I'm trying to achieve.
All right, and then we're going to see so many different bar feeders here, but just for general numbers, what is the smallest size,
Sure.
bar in diameter, and the largest, and then length, short and long for bars?
So let's start small. We can do anything down to 6-foot versions of bar feeders, bar diameters as small as 30 thousandths,
Wow.
which is tiny, and it can be 30 thousandths tubing, round bar stock. Big size, we can do up to 4-inch diameter, 12-foot long standard. However, we do build bar feeders that go all the way to 24-foot long as well.
Okay.
That's actually becoming a lot more common than it was even when I just started 6 years ago.
Wow.
We were maybe doing a handful of them a year. Now we're doing several extended length loaders because people are seeing how far they can take their automation.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's get into the technology, the new things that you guys are showing. So we'll start here,
Sure.
and we can talk about the adjustments that you guys have made.
Sure. So this is a FMB Turbo 565 auto adjust bar feeder. And the benefit of the auto adjust is for your shop that's changing diameters a lot. You're not changing a guide channel set out of this. You're changing 2 parameters in the controller, putting on a new bar feed collet, and now you're ready to run your next job. So you're never changing out the bar feeder. That's a process that can take anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how comfortable you are with it.
Wow.
That goes down to 5 minutes with an auto adjust bar
And that
feeder.
all plays into cycle time. So even
Correct.
just by doing an auto adjustable bar feeder,
Sure.
you can shorten your cycle time.
100%.
That
And
is awesome.
This bar feeder is for the company that still wants to utilize running 12-foot bars, but they're maybe doing 500-piece part runs, not 10,000. So
Okay.
they know they're going to be changing through their product quite a bit.
So very versatile.
Correct.
This would be, and this bar feeder comes in what lengths?
12-foot and 6-foot.
12-foot and 6-foot. Okay, great. And then let's go over to this FMB here,
Yep.
where you guys are showcasing this RS technology.
Sure.
Let's talk about this and tell the audience what it is.
Yeah, so the RS technology is actually patented from FMB. They're the only people worldwide doing it, and it's for Swiss applications. This anti-vibration device actually bolts on to the back of the sliding headstock of the Swiss lathe. So now the bar feeder is actually mounted right to the face of the FMB, of the lathe, and this actually sits inside the lathe sheet metal. It's got a tube that's filled with oil, just like the guide channel, that holds the bar. So now you have a physical connection to the bar all the way through the inside of the lathe to the back of the bar feeder. It's got the most points of contact on the bar of any bar feed solution there is. Really beneficial on reducing vibration in your machine tool. That's what it's made for.
Very impressive. And can you talk about the importance of the reduction of vibration?
Sure. There's a lot of applications. One, let's start. You're making better parts with less vibration. That's pretty simple. 2, the one monetarily, that's probably the biggest difference. They've measured up to 20% tooling savings from the reduction of vibration. So you're really saving money on tooling because you're not breaking tools with bad vibrating bars.
That is awesome.
The other thing that we've noticed, and I don't like to use it as a great selling point, but it's true, the bar stock quality people are getting lately is not great. And customers are buying what they can get, right?
Sure.
But it's not always the straightest. So knowing that, we know the bar is going to vibrate sometimes. Putting a little more effort into dampening those is really going to go a long way for you.
Well, yeah, you guys are taking the extra mile. This is a problem that's in the industry right now, and you guys just had a solution that can solve that problem. So it's just another part of.
And it's such a simple technology. I've likened it to where if a bar feeder never existed, and they just invented one now, it would be this. We were doing it a much more difficult way before. And now this is simple technology. Correct.
That is awesome. All right, so then let's move down to this one here.
Yeah.
And similar technology, right? Yeah. Same thing we got
RS technology,
here? Yep. Okay, and this is just the smaller version of that machine?
Sure, so it comes in a 20 millimeter, a 38 millimeter, which is this one, and then 45 as well for those Swiss machines that go up over 1.5 inches. So they all have the RS technology for the Swiss products.
Okay, and the one question I didn't ask about that one, but for here, now is this something that Edge is going to come in and put on the machine after the fact, or is this something that needs to be implemented in the production of the machine?
So unfortunately, it can't be retrofitted because the stance of the machine's actually a little bit longer.
Okay.
So it's only on new products. Okay. It's interesting though, because the RS bar feeders are actually a little bit longer, but they get mounted so much closer to the lathe, you're saving about 12 inches of floor space because we're so much tighter to the lathe itself.
Awesome, exciting, and I know with being a part of the Mazak line and being able to sell that, this is a bar feeder that we're really looking forward to
100%.
Sell on the Swiss line.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over this way.
Sure.
This is very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, so we referenced loading bar stock all the way down to 30 thousandths. That's really small, right? It is. And the problem when you get down to really small bar stock is they really like to stick to each other in the magazine.
Okay.
So we've actually built this bar feeder called the Micro Mag, where it has these stair steps where you put bars in individually and they keep them separated and they walk down the stairs one at a time to load into the magazine.
And how many can you load in there at once?
This is set up for 20. We have kits that can go up to 40 as well though.
Oh wow, okay. And then I know we talked about this earlier, but the size of the bar that can be difficult being so small, trying to keep the vibration down in the movement.
Sure.
What are you guys doing a little bit different here to ensure that that bar stays stable throughout the process?
Sure, so we have some solid built tubes that actually go all the way from the outside of the lathe or outside of the bar feeder into the lathe. So you're physically dampening and capturing that vibration all throughout the process.
Awesome, good stuff. All right, well let's head over this way.
Sure.
All right, so here we have the Patriot. I know this is a very popular bar feeder for you guys.
Yep.
A lot of customers, a lot of shops out there using the Patriot.
Right.
Give us the rundown and tell us the advantages of this particular bar feeder.
Sure, so this is the release of our Generation 2 Patriot. As you mentioned, probably one of our flagship bar feeders.
Okay.
Biggest thing visually, entire sheet metal facelift. It was a little rigid before. We're going a little more free-flowing. If you notice too, all Edge version products used to be cream and blue. Well, now they're all gray and white to match the F&B line, but also to make them a little more neutral to fit the machine tools a little bit better.
Awesome.
You know, just kind of give everyone, the more neutral colors give a little more, this is supposed to be their look, not what's the bright blue tail doing hanging off of that lathe.
Sticking out of the lathe.
Correct. Correct. So we're
great.
just trying, you know, when you're looking out from the top of the shop over your shop, it's just, everyone likes a good looking machine tool,
a little more seamless.
Sure.
And now with the Patriot, volume sizes, are these going in smaller shops, larger shops, in the middle? Where do you guys see in the most?
Everywhere in between. So our Edge line is made to be a product anyone can afford.
Okay.
So we see a lot of people, this is their first bar feeder. We also have shops that probably have 50 or 60 of them.
Wow, okay.
So they are economical, but they're extremely dependent.
Very good, very good. All right, and then we'll move over to here, which is another newer bar feed for you guys.
Sure, so this is the Ranger 120. And what we talked about earlier is we snuck the size capacity of every bar feeder in the name. So this can run 1 millimeter to 20 millimeters, hence the Ranger 120. So we actually kind of took a good idea from the F&B, and now these have a stair step channel in them as well. So it's walking down the stairs just like the F&B Micro Mag. But originally the Ranger was a 112, so now we've increased the capacity by 8 millimeters, so it can hit that higher end a little bit more.
Higher end a little more. And then for this bar feeder, how many can go in there?
20 as well.
20 as well. Okay, very good. And then this one and the next one are similar that we're going to go look at?
No, so now we're going to go to the short loader for more of a fixed headstock machine.
All right, let's go.
Yep. So this is our new Rebel 80 Gen 3. We're super excited about this machine. This is probably the machine we put the most work into and has improved the most with this new generation. Short loading is super important in our industry, and it's probably more common than 12-foot loading, especially on a fixed headstock, like a fixed headstock Mazak.
Sure.
So you're going to see probably 5 times more of these than 12-footers.
Okay.
So we put a lot of effort into this. The biggest thing is coming out of Asia, which everyone short loader does, we control all the software in St. Louis, Missouri. We write all of it. It's all controlled by us, so we can make it do whatever we want.
Okay.
It's also a lot more conversational because it kind of thinks the way we would write a software.
You would write it and tie it back into the machine. Makes sense.
Correct.
And so because this is more of a short load bar feeder, is this a little bit more geared towards like a job shop style?
Yeah, definitely more people that are have frequent changeovers in diameters.
Okay.
Because all you're doing is there'd be a spindle liner in the lathe, you're pulling that out, putting a new one in, adjusting the size, and now you're off and running.
Awesome. And then kind of the last thing is, automation is such a popular topic that people are talking about in the industry. And I think most of the time when people hear automation, they hear robot. I got to add a robot. But bar feeding is a form of automation that is entry level. And, well, not entry level, it kind of goes through all levels of manufacturing. Can you just talk about the automation that the bar feeder is going to give the customer in terms of benefits and advantages for their process?
Right. So actually, I had a customer come in at 10 o'clock when the show started this morning, and he painted it better than I could. He goes, I love my bar feeders because I don't make money the 8 hours that I'm at work. I make money the 16 hours that I'm not there, and I know my equipment's running. So we call it is automation, but it's not robotics. We call it simple one-axis loading automation. You're running in one direction. It's a really good way to increase your productivity, whether you're running it lights out at night or even if you're just freeing up your programmer who doesn't got to go operate a machine. Awesome. There's a lot of benefits to it. Yeah, and I think the last question that I have for you on all the bar feeders in general, we talked about size, we talked about length of bar. What about type of bar stock? Sure. Like material or?
Material, is it hex?
So we can do round, we can do hex, square, rectangle. We do a lot of profiled extrusions.
Okay.
Don't think it can't be bar fed.
Okay.
One, Edge Technologies, if you notice, bar feeding is what we do. It's all we're focused on. Don't assume it can't be, because I trust you. We could come up with some examples you wouldn't think would be bar fed into a lathe, and they are.
And they are.
Yeah.
So just to tie it all together, if somebody does have an application that they're either not sure can be bar fed or they know can be bar fed, where can they find you at?
Sure. Reach out to us at edgetechnologies.com. Reach out to us directly. Follow our socials on LinkedIn and all of them. We're here for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dan, for being with us. And be sure to visit the Edge Technologies booth here at IMTS 2024.
Thanks.
See you next time.
Thanks, Shae.
Thanks.